Welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with 4 race starts. We're going to start with our category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our category 1 riders. In green, our category 2. In blue, category 3. And category 4 in red.
Well, within 100 metres, the pace on this pack at 45 kilometres an hour. They are up to pace very, very quickly. And that's because Luke Allport is leading the charge off the front from the start. That is no surprise.
So Carradine there looking, I mean, he had the time to see check. He was come and give us a wave, say hello. At the same time, he's on the front and he's putting everybody else under pressure here. That is cool, calm and collected. And the pressure that's going on, look at the chase here coming from Olivier Simmons, going up to over 6 watts per kilo. They're going to need to think about what they do here. 28 seconds is a big gap. The climb is coming up. They're going to take the left-hand turn. They're going to be underneath the polka dot banner, and then they're going to be on the climb. This is a big move, it's a brave move, but it's being done by riders of class.
There's been some tactics at play in category 4 because we've got 3 riders clear at the moment: Winfield, Marin and Almeida. Warren is 4 seconds back, and then Rusinek at 17 seconds. 25.1 is the leading group of 6 in the category 1 race. Simmons and the 2 riders we said are at 28. Category 3 are at 32.2, and category 4, they're the furthest down the road. They were the first riders out to start Penn today. They're still the leaders on the road at the moment at 33.7 kilometres. They've worked their way up to 10th on the road. So this is the group from 10th down on the road. 10, but 9 category 4 riders are ahead of them, and they're around a minute up the road.
They've got to keep the pressure on. That is in the category 3, left hand side of your screen, over the top and on the flat right hand side of your screen. 800 meters to go for Almeida. He is alone, he's got the gap. It's 18 seconds to Rusinek. It's going to be Almeida who's going to hit the gantry first. He takes the win here today. It is qualifier race number 2. Your race winner, Franklin Almeida.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم مع الانطلاقات ال4 والفئات ال4. الفئة باللون الأحمر، الفئة الرابعة والفئة الثالثة بالأزرق، والفئة الثانية باللون الأخضر، والأولى باللون الأصفر.
ودانيال كاديز الآن عملية أتاك في هذا المرتفع البسيط جدا، هذا جسر الخشبة. الرد مباشرة من نيلي باتي. أتاك خلف هايدن بوكر. هايدن من أفضل اللاعبين الذين لديهم قدرة على السبرنت. اليوم يحاول الابتعاد وعملية بريكاوي من قبل هايدن بوكر. أولا وورن الآن سوف يصل إلى اللاعبين الثلاثة في الأمام في هذه اللحظات، والكوكبة بالخلف بقيادة أليكس تويست. 6 لاعبين الآن في المقدمة يتنافسون على المراكز الأولى للفئة الأولى. حسب توقعاتي أظن أن اليوم الفائز في هذه المرحلة سوف يكون ميهال كامنسكي، سوف ينافس بقوة على المركز الأول. فرانكلين اليوم البرازيلي بطل المرحلة الثانية لشهر يوريو بفارق زمني أكثر من 20 ثانية. لأول مرة يفوز البرازيلي ألميدا فرانكلين.
Madame, Messieurs, bonjour, ravi de vous retrouver sur MyWhoosh pour ce Sunday Race Club catégorie. Au départ, la catégorie 4 en rouge, les bleus de la catégorie 3, la catégorie 2 en vert et bien sûr la catégorie 1 en jaune, avec les rouges qui vont ouvrir le bal avec Justin Roy qui a pris quelques mètres d'avance. Justin Roy qui s'est classé donc 3e la semaine dernière du côté de Bruges en Belgique. Ces dernières semaines avec Niklas Haglund maintenant, le Suédois, beaucoup de Suédois évidemment sur MyWhoosh, on en a l'habitude, avec Daniel Cadiz maintenant qui accélère. Daniel Cadiz, le Chilien, dans cette catégorie des jaunes, avec là aussi, regardez, directement des petites attaques d'entrée de jeu avec Aiden Pooker, avec Ollie Jones directement dans la roue. Très intéressant, regardez, Kaminski, Knudsen, Van Alst. On est à du 50 km/h, hein. Allure vraiment très très rapide. Regardez Björklund là, ouais, il est à bloc, hein. Jakob Björklund, ça y va. Et regardez hein, l'écart qui se creuse. 28 secondes. Ça c'est bête pour Oviedo, qui était présent dans ce groupe de tête et qui a lâché prise. Kaminski, Knudsen, Vujacin et Noren. Normalement, Hayden Punker est le plus faible des 5. Mais sait-on jamais pour l'américain. Almeida qui a donc été le plus costaud tout au long de ce tracé et qui s'impose ici à Heritage Climb. Victoire de Franklin Almeida.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 3 in July. My name is Matt Payne. I'm here in the studio with Emma Martin. Emma, we just saw a fantastic women's race that really exploded on the very last climb. Now, we're not going to give any spoilers away on that. It's a very different race route to the men's. This could go from the gun today, couldn't it?
Well, you are correct, Matt. The women's race has been fantastic today and really nail-biting stuff at the finish. Today, we are in Arabia on the Tel Marib route for the men. 45 kilometres of racing, 532 metres of climbing, and last time we were here it was sprint after sprint after sprint into the finish line, and you wouldn't think it looking at this course. Now, there are 3 sprints along the way, all of them 200 metres, and then the 4 categorised climbs. But you can see there are more than 4 climbs on this course, but those 4 categorised climbs, the first one coming at 2.2 kilometres, the aquarium climb, 3.2 kilometres in length, an average gradient of 2.5. It's steady. The Leeward Desert climb is steppy. It's 2 kilometres, 3.5% average gradient, but there are much steeper sections on that, particularly early on. Then we transition at 34 kilometres to the Tel Marib climb, 800 metres only, but 10%. Then we move through the intermediate climb that isn't in red is an average gradient of 6.4%, 800 metres. Then the Tel Marib Dune climb, 1 kilometre, 10.06%. Don't forget the 0.06. It's a nasty, nasty section. And then it's not flat to the finish line. It continues to roll. It continues to climb. But it is a great race course. And from the top of the Tel Marib Dune climb, it's 5.3 kilometre run to the checkered flag.
A great race route, and it uses a lot of the roads that we used to use when we very first started the Sunday Race Club way back when we had quite literally 11, 12, 13 starters, way back when. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we go on today with all of our race fields.
So talking about those sprints, top 3 category 1, 0.07 of a second separated them last time. 0.1 of a second separated the top 2 in category 2, and 1 second separated the top 2 in category 3.
Super fast, super quick. Let's see how categories 1, 2, 3, and 4 go on. 5 minutes between categories 1 and 2, 10 between 2 and 3, 5 minutes between 3 and 4. Category 4, the first starters, with just under 1 minute to our race start. We've got a big cast of nations, 15 nations taken to our start line. New teams in here, the Al Wathbert team, Al Obeidli, as well as Cy Cox in there. We've got Level Racing, the Level Up Racing squad. Now, Justin Roy, Luke Allport, and Ola Warren. The Anzacs represented by Brett McMurtry, David Winfield, Mark Dustin, Tim Connell. We've got the Power Squad, so Jacques Rusinek and Jeff Rooney. Jeff the Power Rooney in and leading that squad. The ZTBR being led by Osmar Vaz as well. A big set of teams. Good to see some new riders. A lot coming across from the GCC Championships as well. People like Cycox for the Al Wathbert team. But it's time to start to wind the power up. It's about time to get racing here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Category 4, hit the roads. They're out. They're off. It's time to go see who's going to be in that finish. Who's got any sprinting legs left after all of this climbing?
Well, out fast from the gun, Mukhtari is absolutely blasting away from the start pen, as Matt makes me think about songs.
Oh, okay. How on earth did I do that?
Hit the road.
Jack. Okay, yes,
Don't
I'm not
you come back.
Hit the road, Jack's Rusinek, who's already in there. Now, Mohamed Mokhtari, another of our riders who we've seen in action racing recently. Good to see him here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Welcome, sir. Good to see him in action. And a rider who I think is going to enjoy this route today because he's a good all-rounder, I think. He's one of those riders, I think, who's got the skills to stay in there and has the climbing ability when it gets into those steeper gradients. I mean, when we're talking 10, 11, 12%, that's a real leg biter. You're really going to feel that. This group, though, very much together here, half a kilometre in, just over a minute of racing covered. A big group. Now, Emma, if we look down this list, we've got some new names, got some old names. I mean, people like SS, who was racing way back when we were talking about, having 11 riders on the start lines. A big group. Anybody catch your eye, particularly anyone who has got form on this course?
Well, interesting. Also interesting to see the Welshman Tom Walker in the mix as well. Great to see him too, coming, as you say, from that GCC area. Alex West is here, strong rider. Cameron Dadson, Edison Casagrande, Felipe Tortoretto. Ian Lloyd is here, so is Cridland, Callangad, Cadabona, Marcus Brito, Michael Pruitt. Stefan Proust is here too. A lot of really, really strong riders. But one of the things we always say is interesting to see when people move up and it reopens up the category behind. For me, Roy, Allport, Warren from Level Up Racing, they're three class riders. McMurtry, Winfield, Dadson and Connell from the Anzacs. Again, for me, that's really big competition for Level Up Racing, who did take the win last month in the June final. But there are individual riders in there who are going to go really, really well today as well.
Well, one of those that I'm really going to keep my eye on is red from Qatar. We actually just saw him on our screen. The Al Wathba QTR Pro squad, Marwan Al Jalham. I think he could be another of these riders to keep an eye on. He was riding really well. Excuse me, earlier in the year.
Well, he was indeed. And Hamid Al-Baildi is the rider we're in with at the moment. Alex West, Jeff Rooney, Torsten Holtz, Jacques Rusinek, Luke Allport in the mix as well. All of these riders. Ian Lloyd is there too. Gomez is there. Edison Gomez in the mix too. So a huge number of riders here, really, really strong at the 2.1 kilometre mark at 44 kilometres per hour at the moment. This group really up to pace very, very quickly. Now, the first sprint on the Tel Marie route comes at 2.5 kilometres into this race. This group are going to come up onto it very, very quickly. Coming round the roundabout at the bottom, you can see the profile and the screen on the bottom left hand of your screen. This is a little bit like the satellite navigation route picture. Yeah, there it is. That is the green banner signifying the start of the first sprint today. The second green banner will be the end of that sprint section as we're seeing Al Jahalm push on. So Marvin Al Jahalm pushing on at the moment. Luke Allport coming up very, very fast, and so is Tim Connell. These riders wanting to go through and wanting to put some fast times down early on today.
So Allport going in through. Good to see the Qatari rider Al Jaham there, up to speed very early on in the pick, and sitting in 5th place at the moment in that sprint competition, the Aldar HQ sprint. Now, Category 4 clearly stretching the legs, breaking the groups up, and already up and racing. Category 3, our next category to go. Well, we have the Al Wathba QCR Pro team represented in here as well from Qatar with Fadl Al Hakta in here. Another of those GCC riders. We've got the Anzac squad. They're captained by Igor Bristolin. We've got the Draw squad. We've got Moreno and Smythe, both experienced MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club riders. Level Racing, well, they've brought 4 riders to the party. Andrew Neville Ross, Ben Kirk, Eric Rimborg, and Sensei Bradley. And we've got Level Revolution. They're going to be captained by New Zealand rider Nathan Peterson. And we've got X-Pro as well from Dorvan K. Ellis. 15 nations on the start list, the same as Category 4. Same start, but will it be as quick from the gun? We saw some fast racing already in Category 4, and that sprint really starting to stir things up. Category 3, don't always wait for the sprint. We can see some. We do see some very quick starts, don't we, from these riders? Who's caught your eye?
Well, you are correct, Matt. This is our biggest race field today. Just 50 riders on the start sheets today, and it really, really is a who's who of Category 3 riders. So Daiduch is here, who took the win last week on the new Heritage course. Valencia is here, goes well. Pino is here, Mountier, Abello, Rodriguez, Guarin, Lewis Ridley, Nicholas Hagland is here, Orego, Batty is here, Kochkov, Manuan, Vangas, Montoya, Giuliano, Sergio Hoyas is here, so is Taylor Gonsolin. Really, really, I say this for each of our categories, but honestly, these categories are so well matched and produce such fantastic racing.
Just on our screens is Fadel Al Hector, a rider who is racing in the GCC stage race. If you haven't seen it, please do go back, have a watch. 5 great stages on 5 days for the men's and women's competition in the Gulf Corporation Council area. Hosted by MyWhoosh, home of great racing of all types from all areas, from national qualifiers to international races, right the way through, of course, to the World Championships. And I am hoping that we're going to see some of our Category 4 and 3 riders having a go at some of our qualifiers, because I think a number of our riders actually not in the Category 1 and 2 have got real good potential to upset the apple cart.
Well, those open qualifiers, Matt, you've got to be in it to win it. And the way you get into that semi-final, if you haven't been recognised and selected by your national federation, is to get on the start line of one of those 3 open qualifiers.
Indeed, and they are on the 3rd of August, the 7th of August, and the 10th of August. There are going to be 2 times per day. Please make sure you go on there. Hopefully, Nicholas Hagland will be on there. I don't think he's got automatic selection from Sweden. I'm not going to get caught out and say he's not already qualified. He's a rider who could really be up there, and hopefully he's going to be having to go at that, as well as the test event that is on Tuesday. I'm not sure whether we'll see him there. Maybe we'll see Yasser Al-Balushi, another rider who we know can ride really strong. Got a good kick on him as well. So we're going to see if he's going to be in there. In terms of our riders who maybe have a little bit more time on platform, Hassan Al-Ramethri in Category 3 this week. He's got to be a good pick when we go into the climbing section of this course, but maybe would want a longer climb.
Yeah, I think we normally see him really come to the fore in Category 3 when we have really one of those long climbs. He is great at that. These climbs are shorter today. I mean, I say that the Aquarium climb is 3 kilometres long, but it's only 2.5%. It's not one of our long, steep climbs. And Al-Ramethri, when we got up the likes of the Jebel Yais or the Jebel Hafit, those are the types of course I think of Al-Ramethri for.
Indeed. And I think probably today, maybe Francis Pino, who's on here, he was targeting the sprints competition. We saw him.
He's got
absolutely
a great kick.
He has. And if I was him, I would be lined up on every single one of the test events, the classics, and on the qualifiers. Because when you look at the way that the World Champs is structured, it's a points competition. I mean, stage 1, it's a sprint, basically, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah.
It's just doing a sprint.
sprint.
And we know that he can do sprint after sprint. You've only got 5 minutes between stage 1, 2, and 3 on those worlds. He's proved he can do that. So will he be the guy who's going to be in there? Now, interesting, Yasser Al-Balushi, the rider that we were just talking about, going through fastest time so far on sprint number 1. That's the other HQ sprint. He's got the fastest time from Ben Kurt, from Luke Allport, from Stefan Proust, Critics Wanos in there. Braidley, interestingly, kicking on. Not known for being the world's biggest, most powerful sprinter. I think he's more tall and sinewy than he is big and sprinty, but
Well, it's all about positioning, Matt. And I think that's the key, isn't it? You can't assume in a sprint race where it's the fastest time that it's the most powerful rider, because it's also about technique. It's about being in the right position and utilising that really, really well. Now, if we think about, that first race, that sprint race, you've got to set the fastest time over 50. You've got 15 minutes. You've got to set the fastest time. Is that going to happen on lap 1 where you've got the most opportunities to draft?
I don't know. I mean, that's going to be really interesting. I mean, Simon really knows how to ride the platform. He knows how to sit and draft. Is he going to be able to position
Or
himself
is the
for the world?
draft turned off?
Oh, well, that would be even, and that's going to make things
Check
very interesting.
the small print.
Indeed. But positioning is still going to be key, I think, because you're going to want that running. Now, size on these screens at the moment, you can just see he's in there. He's one of the people, actually, that you can jump on board.
That's another great jersey, I have to say.
It is a great jersey. I know it's got pink and blue and multicolour and everything in there.
I had Kokonen jersey envy in the women's race. I've now got Cy Bradley jersey envy.
Yep. Well, he's on the screens at the moment, or his avatar is at the moment, heading out and round. Will he be able to hold on to the end of the finish? Has he been getting in those kilometres? Has he been walking the walk as well as talking the talk? And don't forget, of course, you can actually join Cy on one of our video on demand coaching sessions available. So make sure you jump on there. You get to hear what Cy sounds like as well as what he looks like. Now, back in with our riders once again, because I love the fact we're jumping in with a lot of riders in here. In with Julian Munoz Giraldo in here at the moment, and nicely tucked in this category 3 group. The rider from Colombia looking pretty smooth at the moment. He's looking quite comfy there. Focused, which you've got to be, because you can't afford to lose any ground at this stage. But riding well. Just going back to what you were saying, Emma, about positioning. With 3 different types of races, the sprint, the strategist, and the all-out race at the end, I think positioning will be key to success. You're not going to be able to win or be right up there on the test event. That's on Tuesday. You can join us and the riders that are going to be there. That's 9:30, 5:30, and 11:30 UTC. So 3 different time zones. You're not going to be in there on the test event. You're not going to be right up at the front in the test event. Never mind when you're actually going to the qualifiers. On there, I think position is key, and I think probably the more you ride, the better you're going to be at that.
Oh, I agree with that completely. The more you ride, the more you understand those courses, the more you get involved in the test events, and you really get the opportunity to ride those courses, the better you are going to go. I think the other thing that's absolutely going to be key is recovery and a rider's ability to recover. And I don't mean recovery as in days or weeks. I mean recovery as in how well you train your recovery to recover on an event of that nature.
Well, one of the great ways to do that would be, and I think probably would be to learn from Francis Pino, who's on the screen on the left-hand side, because he showed that with aplomb in the racing that we've seen in the GC Championship and regularly on the Sunday Race Club. He's definitely got that recovery. I think that's a really key skill. Just watching these 2 groups, though, we're separated at the moment by 3.4K, 4K at the moment. So, but they really at the moment, the racing is on from very early on. 2 different ways. We've seen riders going off the back in Category 4. In Category 3, they're not so much going off the back as people are trying to ping off the front. At the moment, it's Andre Diduch who's on the attack there. They're different styles of racing, even though we're in basically we're very much in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, we are. And it is very different styles of racing. And you can see here at 9.2 kilometres, this pack still pushing at the front, They really are still pushing. So Marcus Brito coming to the front, just shy of 5 watts per kilo. They're on a small climb. And this is one of the things on this course for me, Matt. There is very little flat on this course.
The flattest section is the mid sections between climbs 2 and 3, from about 20k to about 30k or so. That 10k section in there really, really is the only flat section. Will it suit the Mountain Goats? The Goats team are going to be represented by Jonas Bjarhed, a man who likes it bumpy and tough. The Goats are going to be chased by our Werewolves. The MyWhoosh Werewolves. They're led by Simon Walter. Will they catch them? Will they get the teeth into this course? We're going to see. With the claws out will be the UAE Falcons. They're going to be looking to take a firm hold of the racing. Altanashi and Hamden. What's up? Well, you're getting chased by 3 sets of animals there for a start. Waterclays will be the man who's looking to power down, but they're up against the UAE clan team, Mr. X100 and Pablo Popovic on the start line. Category 2, ready to go. This qualifier number 3, last chance to qualify for the finals coming up next week. Time to go racing in Category 2 in qualifier 3. We're off. We're in with Clays from the What's Up squad. The Belgian rider racing here today. He's racing on the MyWhoosh Arabian Wood on Tel Marib. He's got 45 kilometers, 532 meters. Will we see one of our riders used to these shorter and punchier climbs? Because I think this is lots of ways. This race route is similar to the Belgium courses in terms of climbs. We've got a big, long climb to start off with. Then we've got a series of short, punchy ones that are steep. The big difference for me is there's no, or relatively no flat, particularly at the start. In Belgium, on the Belgian course, we have 6K off pancake, 0%. Here we don't. We've got some real climbing early. I think Carradine is going to love this course. This for me, it suits him down to the ground because this is a course for this man because he's great. The roller coasters are changing pace. He's always really able to react to that.
He is, and great to see him in the mix. And this is a big, big group of riders in Category 2. I said Category 3 was the largest group. Just 49 riders on the start sheets in Category 2. Carradine part and parcel of it, already up and out the saddle because the pace is on at the front already. They really are motoring. They're less than a kilometre out of the start pen, and they really is a stretch on the group. The group all together, but rolling fast.
It is. It's almost the biggest race, but it's definitely the biggest in terms of nations. Carradine from Morocco, one of 19 nations represented here in Category 2. We're in with Mr. X100 from the United Arab Emirates. He's chasing countryman Hassan Sultan, who is down the road at the moment, putting the pressure on here. 6.2K. We're not at a sprint point. I think there's a few riders today wanting to make this a hard race from the word go.
Well, I think everybody realises, with new courses, the first time it comes out, people go, I'm not quite sure how that's going to ride and race. And those riders, historically, we used to ride on a part of this Tel Marib route. Okay, so the last 17.9 kilometres of this race course is part of an old race course we used to use about 18 months, 2 years ago. So any of those riders who have been with us for some time will know the final part of this course. And then when we came to this new course, when it comes to new courses, it does take time to learn to race them.
It does. And you've got to learn to stitch together because the last half we raced ages ago, the first half, the Aquarian climb and the Leeward Desert climb are part of another race route as well. So this mixture of courses together. I mean, Ivan Nuki, he is a rider we saw in action on GCC. He's a regular rider. He rides MyWhoosh a lot.
Yes.
His ride, would you say that his ride, in terms of the men's race in the GCC, his riding was the best ride of the championships? The ride of the championships, GCC.
Wow.
I would argue that
he did put in some great rides.
He didn't win, but that doesn't mean it wasn't the best ride. He pulled out something that we weren't necessarily expecting to see.
Yeah.
And that for me is what I always love, is when riders pull something special out.
A surprising rider.
Yeah, and he did that. I mean, we know he's talented. He's up against, you don't race against the likes of Mr. X100 without being talented. But what you do is you pull something out special on those races. It's amazing. Now, we are in here with our Category 2 riders going through the sprint at the moment.
They are motoring.
They are flying. I'm loving Emma's face here. She's like in disbelief.
I'm aghast at the moment because this pack at 3 kilometres into this race is about to split in two, and huge damage being done on the front of that pack by Olivier Simmons at the moment.
Well, our Category 1 riders have got a lot to live up to following Category 2 out on the road in terms of action. As we head towards the start pens, let's take you through the teams first of all. Coalition Alphajar, Arnie Jacobs, David Talbot, Lionel Vujassin, Michael Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones up against 5 riders from Hard to Guard. Jason Osborne, Martin Martins, Michael Nutten, Said Safrasetti, and Stefan Van Els. This battle between these two teams, I think, has ramped up from the earliest qualifier right the way into the finish.
Yeah, and Hard to Guard took the win in the June final from Coalition AlphaJaw. It's going to be interesting to see who takes the win next week, but we've got to get there yet. And away go Category 1 on the final qualifier for July.
Interestingly, 19 nations taking the start line in categories 1 and 2, 15 in 3 and 4.
Well, 36 riders on the start sheets in Category 1 today as we witness them go out of the start pen. Panizza, Knudsen, Turek, Martins, Thompson, Jones, Osborne, all in here. But there's a hot pace on the front, and it's Hayden Pucker, the rider who had his first top 5 finish last week on the new Heritage course, picking up 3rd spot, flying out of the start pen.
I'm not sure what's happened today. Has somebody said to everybody, by the way, you all need to be finished by, like in a record time? Because look at the pace that's being set here. Pucker, Osborne, Jones in here. Maybe Jones is
well,
just...
Personally, I think it's because Pucker's on a pink Carl Largo.
Look,
they're always fast bikes,
I keep telling you, what you need to do is take across your historical racing record and move it across and get yourself extra points. Because you can do that now on MyWhoosh, and then you can have your pink Carnago. Are you determined you're going to do it the hard way?
I'm determined I'm going to do it the hard way, and I'm going to earn it myself on MyWhoosh.
That is so typical of you.
I know.
It the hard way.
Well, the rider's doing it the hard way at the moment. It's Knudsen on the front with Osborne at the moment. Betty is there as well on the left-hand side of your screen. It's a fast start from Category 1. On the right-hand side of your screen, Category 2 is in 2 groups, like we predicted, and it's Phil Graves, Olivier Simmons, James Harvey, who are still pushing on at the front of Category 2. Jakob Abiko is there as well. Hassan Sultan is possibly in the mix.
Such a dangerous group. Do you know, this is a real strong group, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders stretched back, but these 5 riders are clear of the chase. The chase is the rest of the pack.
Let's see what they can do. 12 seconds, and it looks like it's opening it up more. Brian Mussum of the United States of America, Nicole Kansara and co. are leading the chase behind, but we're in with Hassan Sultan. He's the last of these 5 riders, just going past the Bitco at the moment, and these riders, they need to pull together. Get this 5 together, guys. Get the gang together. Get the band back on the road again. Hit the right notes, and you are going to put a hit record together. You are going to set records at the front. You need to go now. Do not mess about. Don't wait for the orchestra behind.
I'm loving the idea that Simmons, Graves, Sultan, Abiko, and Harvey are a boy band.
Do you know what? I'd love it if they all got together and did a composite boy band picture.
Funny.
Yeah, I know. It could be very interesting. We will see whether or not they are going to get the coordination together, or will they fall apart faster than take that on a Friday night. We will see.
Do they have the harmonies to succeed?
Oh my goodness me! Shall we stop the record analogies right now? Because I certainly. Yeah, before Emma starts singing in the studio. My goodness me. I'm not sure.
Move on before then.
Yeah, the microphones may not take it. Okay. I got away with that one. Saeed Safdie in action in Category 1, making his way underneath the Aldar HQ sprint. So this is the first sprint for Category 1. Are we going to see the instigation of action as they're coming through here, or are we going to see them riding cynically through? I'm not sure there's any cynicism today.
No.
I know I do often accuse Category 1 of being uber professional, but at the moment they're not.
What do you mean? Of course they are. They're concentrating on the bike race.
Uber professional, a.k.a. riding, just using their energy when they need it. There's always an exception to the rule. Tadej Pogačar for a start, just basically going out there and riding and having fun everywhere. Congratulations, buddy. But at the moment, interesting to see as we go through there, Category 1, although it looked like they were quick, it's not saying that on our screens.
No, they weren't. Category 1 riding through the Aldar HQ sprint as a pack. Phil Graves, part and parcel of that attack in Category 2, setting the fastest time at 13.286 seconds. Al Belushi in 2 from Category 3, along with Ben Kirk, part and parcel of that level racing squad. Luke Allport setting the fastest time in Category 4, giving him 4th place overall, 13.754. Bruce same category as well. James Harvey then from category 2. And then we start to see a real mix. Marsan Kreisen-Welnos is there with Cy Bradley, Breck McMurtry, rounding out the top 9.
And a real mix of riders there. Now, I was looking at the watts per kilo when they were up on our screen. They're all running around about the 9-10 watts per kilo. Good sprint efforts there coming out from lots of riders. They'll be suited to the new racing that's coming to MyWhoosh on a Wednesday and a Saturday.
Tell us more about that.
Two time zones covered in those days on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Kicking off on Saturday, the 27th of July. Then the Wednesday, the 31st of July. Super short, as in they're only 30k, points races, multiple sprints and punchy climb segments. No climb's going to be longer than 1k. Now, this is going to be perfect training for doing things like Worlds. It's going to be perfect training for Sunday Race Club and a good way to sharpen your legs as well the day before on a Saturday, or to do a really tough session in the middle of the week. I think the way these riders are sprinting, that ability to sprint and sprint again is going to be trained on those perfect events and the premium as well. So that has the advantage that if you do use dual recording, you can then use them as a qualifier for the Worlds. They work towards your passport, your power passport for Sunday Race Club. They're brilliant for that. And I think we're going to see people using those a lot.
Well, I like the sound of that, particularly racing on a Saturday.
Might entice me to actually get back on the bike.
Careful.
And
well,
race,
I'll tell you
rather
something.
than just ride round and
Racing
enjoy it.
At the moment is this category 2-pack. Hassan Sultan, Mendakowicz, Dahn, Holweiler, all in the mix here. This is the chasing group, Matt. The power is now going down, and the motivation to chase, because take a look at that. On the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you can see what they are chasing. Last time we were in with the leading group in category 2, 5 riders were clear, and Che Holweiler, we can see on our screen at the moment, the effort going into that chase really strong at the moment. But he's there with Quintero, Muzum, Sultan, Milastic. They are all chasing.
Yep. Big chase group. Not sure it's full on chase yet. I'm just looking at the numbers in the group. I don't mean the numbers of riders, but the numbers of watts per kilo. You can see that per rider on the right-hand side of your screen with the names of the power in terms of weights, watts per kilo, the distance covered and the time gaps. But you look at that group, and at the moment, it's not flat out. You look at the guys in front on the right-hand side of your screen. You know, we are looking for Phil Graves at the moment. He's at 6+ at the minute. He's 6 watts per kilo on the back recovering. On the front of that group, we are talking about the guys going through at 7+ watts per kilo. It's just starting to kick off in the group behind. They're just starting to lift up to those kind of levels now. But we've had a breakaway for a while now, and this is really, really shaking things up.
It's about 250 metres that breakaway have got at the moment, and it looks like, well, I keep debating as to whether extending or not, because the chase is on from behind and they really are pushing, but the push is on from the front as well. And they're about to go through, well, the front is about to go through the end of the sprint section. The Chase have not even started the sprint section, which tells me each of those sprint sections being 200 metres. It is coming up to 250 to 300 metres now, the gap. So the gap really starting to open up. It's currently sat at around 24 seconds. 5 riders clear at the front of category 2. This is the chasing group going through the end of the sprint now. The leaders are out round the corner and down the road.
Well, the phrase is out of sight, out of mind. I'm not sure what it is when it says out of your time zone and gone somewhere else, because at the moment those leaders are doing such a good job of breaking clear. I mean, they are taking the pressure off. It's 20+ seconds at the moment, and that's a good gap. Let's take a look at category 1. Let's take a bit of a breather, or maybe not, because
Jason Osborne is back.
Jason Osborne, welcome back, Jason. It's nice to see you back on Jason Osborne form and kicking posterior across the road here, because this is great to see. We've got Knudsen, we've got Jacobs, we've got Osborne, Pucker. I mean, they're just kicking it at the moment. They really are pushing through this course, because you don't get that rest of a complete flat. I think we see. Hang on a minute. I was just taking.
Hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute. I'm just taking a look at the screens. We've got 4 riders on the screen. Now, Michael Kaminsky, recognised about him and his background. Line of Justin there with the blurred out background. Arnie side on shot with the hair blowing in the wind. Good to see Arnie. I didn't recognise Ollie Jones there because
Why is that?
that's not Ollie. Have you changed where you're riding?
No, he's tidied his garage.
You think he's tidied up?
Yeah, he's just tidied his garage. That's all. That is Ollie Jones in his garage. It's just tidy.
No wonder I didn't recognise it.
Well, congratulations for tidying the garage, Ollie Jones. It's great to have you as part and parcel of the group in such a pristine place of riding. Well, Betty, Dont, Panizza, Wilson, Martins, Osborne, Noren are all in here.
I'm just going to come to a really serious point here. If you have an untidy garage or you have stuff laying around everywhere in where you train, I wonder how much impact that has just in terms of things like spores in the air, the dust levels, things like that. You know, if you were down in a dirty cellar or something, or you're out I mean, look at Tordal Young there. Loads of fresh air coming in with the fan, nice and crisp and clean. That's going to be good quality air he's breathing in. And I think that maybe somebody needs to do a study
on dust particles and cycling.
Yeah.
I'm sure there probably is one somewhere. I'll have a look later. Well, as this race continues to move, they're coming up for the 8-kilometre mark in Category 1. Category 2 are at 11.6 kilometres, and that leading group is still round the corner and out of sight. While the leading group are on the right-hand side of your screen, and it's Phil Graves, James Harvey, Olivia Simmons, Mendakowicz there too. Well, or is he? No, Mendakowicz is part and parcel of this chasing group. It's looking to me now like it's 3 riders leading out front. Troshanowski, Mendakowicz, Darn, Ivo Sur, Christoph Thiem, all part and parcel of the chasing group. And it's the chasing group, Matt, that's been blown to smithereens. The chasing group was 1 group. It's now 2. Actually, no, it's 3.
It's
4.
a lot. Keep counting. So at the moment here in Category 2 are breakaways who had 20 plus seconds, currently at 14 seconds as we go underneath the start of the banner for the aquarium climb, the first of the categorized climbs today that are part of our segment competition for the King of the Mountains competition. Points are 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 for the climbs as they go through. The total points at the end of today's race give that rider the polka dot skin suit. There's no prize money. There's just immense bragging rights at being the best climber out of what is an incredible bunch of riders. We're on the aquarium climb. We're in with Mr. X100 at the moment, who is in the leading chase group. This is what's left of the peloton, or the biggest group on the road, the main racing group. That's in Category 2, top right-hand side of your screen. They're at 12.6k. The race well and truly on, as it is in all 4 categories. So Category 1 with our leading riders trying to break up the group at 9.3k. Category 2 on the aquarium climb, 12.7k. Category 3, well, they are at 19.4k. So they are in the depression. They're about to start the Liwa Desert climb, my least favorite climb of the entire race route. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see at the top of the Liwa Desert climb, you've got the leaders in Category 4 there on our screen at the moment. The riders in the red, the leaders on the road. Big group, though, to say that they're at the top of that climb. So top of the climb, right-hand side of your screen in red. Bottom of the climb, left-hand side in blue. There's not much separating the two. This climb, it's only 2k long. It climbs only 71 meters. But what is killer of this climb is it's got a step 2/3 of the way up, which flattens right out and breaks your rhythm into pieces.
Well, breaking your rhythm isn't something that's happened to this front group. 16 riders still in that front group in the Category 4 race. And they're now at 22.1 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. They're through the aquarium climb and they're through the Liwa Desert climb as well. They're on the long run, the 14.4-kilometre run to the Tel Marib climbs. And then they come thick and fast. So 16 riders in that leading group in Category 4. going through that Liwa Desert climb. Category 3, they are well and truly into the Liwa Desert climb. They are around 2.4 kilometers behind the leaders in the Category 4 race, but it's Ramirez and Guarin and Velez who are on the front of that group. But there is a big group there. Now, just a reminder, it is our largest race field of the day. 50 riders on the start sheet. There's not 50 riders in the leading pack, but it is still a huge group of riders. Now, 10 minutes behind Category 3 started Category 2. Coming up for the 14-kilometer mark, they are on the aquarium climb. As you can see, it's currently 2.3%. You can see that on the top right-hand corner of their screen. You can see the climb that they are on at the moment. The group in Category 2 decimated by an early attack. Simmons, Harvey and Graves have 18 seconds on the group we are looking at the moment. They are clear down the road, and the chase group has skittled across the road and smashed to smithereens.
Well, it's all the S's down there. However, we're with the X100 of them, in fact, because Mr. X100 in the chasing group. Now, they're chasing down Graves. Interestingly, I'm just taking a look here. We've got Jansky, we've got Krasnich in here. In this leading group, I mean, these are riders who we know can take the win. They're almost been caught napping a bit here. It's still 16 plus seconds to the group at the front.
This is last week's winner on our screen.
Yeah. And congratulations, Marcin, a rider who I think thoroughly deserved it. If you haven't watched the racing last week, do have a watch. But you can watch back all of the racing so far on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. It was a great race win, hard fought, well deserved, and a man who'd been, if we were giving out combative awards,
knocking on the door.
He has been, and he's been combative all the way through. He's been fighting all the way. And, sometimes some races actually have been given out by journalists and broadcasters. He would have been my pick for the most combative rider award last week. Will it be him again? Well, in fact, he's a rider who regularly was taking that before he moved up into Category 1. And again, you could argue, has done the same in Category 1.
I agree.
Ruben Don, he's got the sprint jersey in Category 1, the fastest rider through those sprints. Smart riding by him. We know he's a smart rider. Can he climb as well? We're going to find out. Emma, they're on to the first of our climbs.
They are indeed on to the first of the climbs. This is the start of the aquarium climb at 3.2 kilometers with an average gradient of 2.5%. I think we're going to see this group pretty much stay together unless there is a massive attack on the front. I'm not sure we're going to see that attack right at this second. I think we're going to see these guys go on a steeper climb later.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not sure I agree with that.
I was about to say, Matt's jaw in the studio looked as though it was about to hit the floor. Obviously,
good job the desk is high, that's all I'm going to say.
But Plantero, Pucker, Gallo, Osborne, Wilson, all in there at the moment. Johan Noren, the guy who took the win last week, he's in the mix here. Plantero is here. He's on our screen. It's such a well-matched group, Matt, this Category 1 leading group. One or two riders off the back at the moment, but this is a big group at the front.
It is, and I think this is an opportunity that you shouldn't waste here. This is Category 1. On the first climb, they need to make the most of this opportunity on the way up to shed some riders. You can make this hard for people unless you particularly want this to come to a sprint or you want to fight it out on an 11% slope. Why would you wait? Why would you wait? Go now. Go make it hard now. If you're a climber, you've got a sustained long period of climbing where you've got some changes in rhythm. Break it up. If you end up in a big group, I mean, Category 2 on the right-hand side of our screens, it's a huge group in there. Your odds are not fantastic in there. They're still chasing Graves and Co., who are 15 seconds down the road. It shows you they've not particularly used that climb. So they've just basically let 15K of the race route go by without actually doing anything meaningful in it, whereas the other guys have gone. Yeah, too right. Don't waste a meter. Life's too short. Be smart. All race route. Go out and get it raced. You're here to race. You're here to win. Not here just to come and look at the scenery, nice as it is.
Well, I disagree with you. Some days, depending upon your larger strategy and training program, you might not be aiming to be at the front pointy end of the race. You might be riding and racing with your friends and want to be in the pack.
I think we just summed up the difference between Emma's race philosophy and riding philosophy and mine in about a minute there.
Well, anyway, James Harvey, Phil Graves and Olivier Simmons, they are the three riders who have decided they want the pointy end action
you're with
of
me,
this
guys.
race.
Come on.
Jonas Bjarhead, 14 seconds back, is at the front of the chasing group with men Dakowitz and Holweiler, X100 and Ospina as there as well. Taking a look at these two groups, the leading three are now down off the other side of the aquarium climb. They're going to drop to the lowest point of the course before they get to the leeward desert climb. Much further up the road, Tom Walker, the Welshman, and Michael Pruitt. I wondered when we see Pruitt. Pruitt are the two riders attacking off the front of the Category 4 race. Luke Allport, Jacques Roussenek, SS, Justin Roy, Torsten Holtz are the riders leading the chase behind. But Tom Walker is pushing on.
And this rise and fall that they've gone over the top of here, it hardly shows on the course profile. It's a little bump between the Leeward Desert climb and the Tel Marib climb, but it's enough. Allport here, pushing on strongly here. One of these days, we are going to get an explanation of Allport on the MyWhoosh social feeds, of what it is to do an Allport on the Instagram feed. Don't forget, follow MyWhoosh on Instagram and Facebook for all of the updates. Luke Allport out the saddle, stamping down on those pedals. He's really working well. Still got I don't know how he finds the energy to wave out of the saddle, stamping on the pedals whilst putting in an effort to close down Tom Walker at the front of this race on this descent.
He's an expert Sunday race clubber.
Yes. 100%. He knows how to ride this platform, how to race Sunday Race Club, and has even got a race move named after him. Now, one rider who is in the same mold to a degree here, David Tolbert, another rider not afraid to have a go. He's doing it, though, on the climb, and he's doing it towards the summit. We're just up this straight round the right-hand turn. If you see an attack from Category 1, it almost invariably will come as you come up towards the top. They know that they need to have the gap over the top. Attack so there's not enough time for other people to respond and get your gap in there. Response comes from Knudsen. It comes from a Truba here, and behind, well, I mean, we're still seeing 8 and 9 watts per kilo. That's a big kick.
But we are seeing two riders clearly distanced from this group, and we said it was a big group who went into the bottom of the aquarium climb together in Category 1. And I stuck my neck out and said I didn't think it was going to split. It has, but we've only lost 2 riders
so far. Not that there's that far to go.
There's not that far to go. There it is. No. That is the polka dot banner signifying the top of the aquarium climb.
But it's how much, for me, it's how much damage can you do? They've used that and they've damaged legs in the top third of that climb by pushing on, by that strong push coming from the United States rider, David Tolbert, really winding the pace up there. He gets the fastest time up the climb, so he will get that polka dot skin suit as the fastest rider up climb number 1. Whether he holds it to the end will depend on his performances on the Leeward Desert climb, the Tel Marib climb, and the Tel Marib June climb. Knudsen, Osborne, Kaminsky, Vajassin, Safsedi, Wilson, Truba, and Jacobs, the riders immediately behind. For me, Emma, what's really interesting is the push came at the end there, which means that the time gaps are not huge.
The time gaps are not huge. You are quite correct. But what's interesting for me, 21 riders in that leading group still.
Ouch.
Well, interestingly, also what's happening is we're seeing a push on the descent, and Knudsen continuing to put the same power down that he put on the climb on the descent.
Now, a little bit further up the road, and this is what is going to be facing our riders very shortly in Category 1. These are our Category 2 riders. They are on the Leeward Desert climb. Now, they've come out from the lowest point on the race route today, which is after the descent of the aquarium climb. So you descend off the aquarium climb, you come all the way down. You then have a flat section, you go onto this climb. They're on part 1. It is a 2-part climb because it levels off part way up and then it kicks again. Now, making sure that you get this climb pace right, you don't lose time on that gap is critical. Graves and Simmons, the leading group with Walker, they've lost a little bit of time. They're about 10 seconds at the moment. We'll see what that is as they go up over the top. But this is a huge group. We've lost 1 or 2 riders. these riders need to start making this count. I'd be really interested to see what size that group is. Now, the chase is being led by Mr. X100 here. He is at the front of that group. He was at the front of this group coming into the base of the climb. He's really worked his way over the top. And interesting, just seeing him just taking a little bit of a breather coming along this flat section.
Yeah, so Graves, Harvey and Simmons now 8-9 seconds up the road. The chase continuing to come. The Liwa Desert climb is where we're at. And look at that. It's Mendakowicz who goes up and over the top to continue the charge. X100 responds. At this rate, they're going to pull them back in. But Graves, Harvey and Simmons, 3 class riders who have been out now at the front of this Category 2 race for some time. Well, they are now in sight of the chase group. What was it you said, Matt? Out of sight, out of mind. Well, they are back in sight, and the motivation to chase has risen. So Che Holweiler now taking on the charge and really putting in a big dig on the front. X100, Ospina, Melistic, all in there. Troshanowski there too. These riders absolutely adamant they're bringing it all back together. Take a look at the effort from Holweiler to bring this back.
It's a real power moment. You've got to have the kick. You need to be in contention. You need to not let the gaps go. We may see that actually this forces a split again in the group. Everyone wants to be in contention. We're coming up to that polka dot banner over the top of the Liwa Desert climb. This is the, I want to say it's the top, but it doesn't feel like it, because although it starts going along at a relatively easy gradient, it's only when you start dropping down underneath these arches that you actually feel like you're starting to pick up speed without having to force the pedals.
Well, I'm just giggling because it's like one long line of riders now. 23 riders in this leading group, and I'm going to call it a leading group, even though it is scattered across the road. So that includes the 3 riders up the front and the chasers at the moment. We are starting to see riders not able to stay with this attacking pace. This clawing back is starting to do the damage to the back of the group, and it's David Darn and Khan Kayin who have been dropped off the back of the group. Frederick Grombert is the next rider in trouble.
There's riders just starting to lose touch all over the place. They're not staying with the pace. Interestingly, 20 chasers, all faster than the 3 breakaways going over the top of that climb, on that climb section in Category 2. They're the right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, Category 1 leaders are coming in to this same part of the climb. This is exactly the same climb. This is the bottom of it. You come in, you hit the gradient, you go from 0 straight into a 5%. It kicks in really quickly as you come in. Already we are seeing riders off the back of this group now. We're going to go up here. We've got that leveling. We've got that second part of the climb. It's going to be tough stuff today. Will we see riders up at the front all the way into the finish who can do the work here as well? On our screens, Daniel Čurek, a regular rider on the Sunday Race Club, a rider from Czechia, or the Czech Republic, and a rider who clearly is I think he's looking very focused today on this group. You can just see him keeping those revs turning at the moment.
Well, this is the steep section of the climb at the moment, Matt, and this group are really starting to motor. So Knudsen, Talbot, Jones, Vujasin, Nair, Jakob, Safra, Zaidi, Turek, Wilson are all in this group, and the group now starting to stretch. And that's because right at the top, it's Knudsen putting the power on.
He's really winding it, isn't he? Look at this. He did this on the aquarium. We saw him push through the aquarium climb. He's pushing again on the Liwa Desert climb. Now, there are bumps after this climb, but it's a long way to the 34-kilometer marker that sees going to the next categorized climb. So you've got to make this terrain count now. You can reinforce what you do after this, but you have to do something decisive here if you don't want to take this group in. We're seeing the push. Vujasin, Knudsen, Safrazadi, all in there. Osborne's just a little bit further back. He's squeezing his way up towards the front. He sees the danger here. You could just see these riders. Everybody wants to be in with the lead. They do not want to let a gap go. It's so dangerous. So, category 1 on the Leeward Desert Sprint coming up towards the top, their top left-hand side of your screen, top right-hand side of your screen. Our now solo leader, Phil Graves, continuing to push on the front of category 2. He is still clear of Krasnich by 5 seconds, but the group is coming. Category 3, bottom left-hand side, nearly 30 kilometers covered. They are a big, big group. I don't even want to try and count how many riders in there. It's absolutely huge. They are just making their way in to the Talmarib Sprint. Right-hand bottom side of your screen, we've got the leaders on the road. It is, I see, Tom Walker, SS, Luke Allport in that order as they go in through. Interestingly, Allport and SS chasing CMC and Tom Walker. 3 seconds. 3 seconds only the gap between them. 10 seconds behind. It has split apart in category 4, and they are nearly at the Talmarib climb.
Wow. Wow, because that Talmarib climb map comes at that 34-kilometre mark. It is the last 11k of racing. It's fast, it's furious, and there are multiple climbs along the way, 2 of which are categorised as category 4 climbs. The Talmarib climb itself, 800 metres with an average gradient, hold on to your hat, 10%. Then we drop down the other side. We go up the intermediate climb, which is not categorized. It's 800 meters with an average gradient of 6.4%. We drop off of that and into the Talmarib Dune climb. From there, it's 5.3 kilometers to the finish line. But take a look at this. This is the Leeward Desert climb. Category 1, we saw them push on. Michael Knudsen, Wilson Jones, Osborne Talbot, Jakob Safrazadi, Vuyasin Plantero, and rounding out the top 10, Ruben Dont.
And the riders who've gone through in that leading group, there's hardly anything separating them. I mean, they were one long line going up over the top through the banner. And then you saw the group start to come together. They have dropped riders. There are a number of riders. That is a much smaller group of
13
riders at the moment going up over the top together. But will the work that they've done there, do you think that's too detrimental, the amount of effort they put in? I don't think it is. I think you've got to do it relatively early. It's a massive gamble waiting to those last climbs in that bumpier section. You need to put it in early. Because when you get here, where we are with SS, he is currently at 34.1k. You have a little roll down into the Talmarib climb. These are steep as anything. I've ridden over these for years now on MyWhoosh. They don't get any easier. The graphics are amazing, and the progression in what you're looking at, which when you go as slow as me is quite a lot. But the action, these are hard climbs, and you emphasize the gradients there. You can't emphasize them enough, can you, really, almost?
No, you can't. And actually, those earlier climbs, you are quite right, Matt. It is about attrition. It's about losing riders, making the group smaller, but also trying to do damage to your competitors' legs, because they are short, sharp climbs. They are hard. Riders will lose time on them, but riders with tired legs will lose more time on them than others.
Yep. 100%. Now, let's see how Phil Graves' legs are doing. He's on the front of the Category 2 race. He's on the left-hand side of your screen. He is Billy No Mates, all on his own at the front. He's got nobody to go to the cafe with, nobody to have a coffee with. He's all on his own.
But it means he's leading the race.
He's leading the race, and he's riding at his pace, which I think is really critical. He's able to sit at a pace he wants to ride at. Now, this is going to be about pacing, because he needs to stay clear of the riders behind. You've got Krasnich behind. You've got Mr. X100 coming behind. You've got Tatu Koistonen coming, Peter Milostic, Christoph Thiem, James Harvey. It's like a who's who of Category 2, chasing down one of the old stagers who's been here since pretty much day one in Phil Graves. Now, it's all very well taking away the green jersey if you're green skin suit, if you're Phil Graves, but surely he would want to take the win. Has he got the energy, the firepower to stay clear?
It's still a long run to the finish. They're only at 27.5 kilometres
Just
into
over
this
halfway.
45-kilometre race. It is still a huge ask. Is he capable? I think the question more is the group behind capable of pulling him back And I think the answer to the second question is yes.
I'd agree they're more than capable, but we do see groups get the timing wrong. We see breakaways take the win. It's not just in Grand Tours and the Tour de France and the Giro d'Italia and the UAE Tour that this happens. The breakaways get the win. We see it get the riders getting the win on the Sunday Race Club. We have seen long breakaways. People like Michael Vink doing a Vink, going off, literally coined the term for taking an attack and going away and taking a win on a solo breakaway. Ruben Dont, we've seen do that before. We've seen riders do it. Whether we will see it from our riders in categories 2 and 4, we will have to see. Mr. X100 on the left-hand side of your screen, SS right-hand side of your screen. Two of the riders, in fact, that I first rode, my first ride on this course, on these hills, was with these two.
Well,
and I got an absolute kicking back then. Some things don't change.
X100 part and parcel of this category 2 chase. 8 riders going up the Tel Marib climb in that category 4 leading group.
And interesting, Olivier Simmons there putting down the look, work together, that universal signal for put your hand down and doing the spin, take your turn, let's get some turns in, let's do some work. You never need to encourage Mr. X100 to put a big effort in and to keep the racing hard. He's on the front at the moment. He's got Thiem, Bjarne, Quintero, Heaney behind. They can see Harvey, they can see Krasnich, they can't see Graves at the minute. He is down the road. I think they need a telescope to see him at the moment. They've got their work cut out. The hare has run. The hounds are chasing. They've got a long way to go. Meanwhile, category 3, they are at 34 kilometers. They've just done that dip down. They're now going on to the Tel Marib climb, where we saw our category 4 riders not all that long ago, the leaders going up and over.
Look at the size of that group.
Steep bank, big group. Absolutely. This should be carnage. This should not stay together now. If this stays together, that says to me that there's a very, very cagey, tired riding going on, because you've got 2 more big climbs and a bumpy run to that finish. If you are feeling fresh now is the time to go. It's not long, but I mean, look at the gradient. 13% basically.
It is, and look at the angle of that climb. Now, the average gradient on this climb is 10%, and you can see it's currently at 13. Well, 12.9. I'll take 13 there.
Yeah, there we go.
These riders really starting to stretch on. It's Andrew Downey at the front of the pack at the moment, stretching it, but. They are, we always say this for category 3 because they are so well matched. It's our biggest race group on the Sunday Race Club, and the matching of these riders phenomenal. Marvin Angarita is up there as well, right up the front of this race. So these riders being led out by Andrew Downey at the moment on the climb at 13.3%. It continues to be steep. They continue to climb. Phenomenal riding.
It is, and this, interestingly, we're focused on the polka dot skin suit here of Fadel Hakta, who is on the climb. He's our leader in the King of the Mountains. 2 of the climbs have been completed in the 4 climb competition here. He is in the prime position of scoring the most points so far. He needs to be in touch with the race. Now, if you were just going for those points, you maybe would come in at the back of the group and then race towards the front to ensure that you've got the fastest time by coming in last and coming out first. However, it's a risky prospect when you've got the group racing for the overall as well. Big moment in category 3. Big moments in category 4. They're also on the climb. They're on that intermediate climb that Emma was indicating on the way in between the 2 Tel Marib climbs. However, they are both a long way ahead of category 1, who are currently at 27 kilometers, 10k behind our leaders on the road.
Do you know what? And this tells me is the fact that actually all of our racers have been pushing on and really, really working hard on this course today, because we are not seeing any of these race categories come together. Category 4 started first, 5 minutes before category 3. They are still a significant way ahead of them on the road today. Category 2 started 10 minutes behind category 3, and category 1 started 5 minutes behind category 2. It's like the gaps are holding. It's like category 1 are almost the slowest race field. I know they're not. And
But
I know it's relative.
it does feel a little
But
bit.
it does feel a
Yeah.
little bit like that because we've seen such aggressive racing. Category 1, 27.7 kilometres. Category 2, 31.5. Phil Graves still out front and he's now got 10 seconds again. Absolutely motoring. Category 3, 35.3 kilometres. They're on the descent at the moment. And Category 4, well, Luke Allport has just ridden clear of the chase group, and boy is it a chase group. We had 8 riders going to the bottom, and look at the stretch on that group now. They're at 37.8 kilometres into the race, still 2.1 kilometres clear of the leaders from Category 3.
I love Sunday Race Club.
So do
I might
I.
have said that before. It's the action here is brilliant. It's great to put words to the action. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here with Emma Martin here in the studio for the Sunday Race Club. And at the moment, our riders not disappointing us with the action out on screen. 10 kilometres just about separating the leaders in Category 1 from Category 4. You got Lyndon Milostic in Category 1 in the league. You got Luke Allport, countryman of Lyndon Milostic in Category 4 on the front of that Category 4 race, which is blowing it apart.
Well, if you like what you are watching today, you can head over to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. You can like and subscribe and get alerts to every time MyWhoosh goes live with race footage. You can follow MyWhoosh on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X. You can head over to mywhoosh.com, read the latest blog, find out the latest events, take a look at the training programs. You can follow me at Biking Emma on Instagram, and you can follow Matt Payne, my co-commentator, at Matt Fixer Payne.
Indeed, and we do love it when you send messages in. I know lots of people messaging in each and every race. Thank you ever so much. We really, really do appreciate it. We do try and get to all those comments. If we missed you on the way through, please don't take it personally. We're just trying to keep up with all of them. Is brilliant, and we get stuck into that. I know after the show that we will be on social media almost immediately afterwards, just to check out what's on there as well as watch the rest of the race results come in. So please do. If you don't, get in touch. Tell us about what you're up to, where you're at, how you found the racing. The more you can feed back to us, the more that we can put it in there. You never know. You might find we take the mickey out of you as much as we do Phil Graves out on course. Now, Daniel Churek is out on the course in the lead group in Category 1. They are at nearly 30 kilometres, which means they're coming into the Telmarie Sprint. This used to be a race finish. This has regularly been a race finish as you come in on this long sweeping right-hand turn. Now it is a sprint segment. This will give us a good snapshot on who is in here, who's working hard. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you will know that all of our riders have different heart rates. Obviously, they're human beings. They're all different. They're not robots. They literally are very, very different. And some riders will have a high or a low heart rate. But if you watch it regularly, you'll also know which riders regularly have high or low heart rates and who is working hard here. If our Category 1 riders were on the screen, you'd know they were working hard because they're right at the top. What is very interesting at the moment, they're not showing up on that screen at all. That says, if that is right, and that's what I'm seeing on my screens, they are not at the moment working hard at all. Have you found? I mean, all credit to Yasser Al-Balushi and to Oleg Kochikov, our Category 3 riders up at the top. You got Mr. X100 in the top 3 there. Nicholas Hagland, who we've seen on a screen. Olivier Simmons, Francis Pino, great sprinter. Kaplinski, Mountier, great riders. But Category 1 are a long way down.
Well, Ruben Don's in 10th. So Ruben Don setting the fastest time in Category 1 on that sprint through the Telmarie. The rest of the Category 1 race field toured Alan Jung 24th, Betty 25th, Talbot 32nd, Jacobs 37th, Safrazadi 39, Osborne et al. 40s and 50s.
Wow. Now, here we go.
A different race.
It is a very different race. We are at 37k, and this is where we got a good look. Actually, we're in with Category 3. This is the run-in to the hill, the climb before the Telmarie June climb. You come across the lake here, across the oasis. You go over this bridge. This is actually really tricky either direction. We've done it both directions. Do it this direction, you know about it because you really hit that climb hard. Right behind him, though, this is category
They've
2.
got him.
He's got caught. Oh, my goodness. I think the wheels have fallen off that bike.
How long has he raced for?
Good question. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see it on
I can
our
tell
screens.
you,
Come on.
49 minutes. So Phil Graves is caught at the 49-minute
Oh.
mark by the chase group in category 2. They are on the Tel Marib climb, but boy, has he made them work to get there.
That was a big, big effort. All kudos to Phil Graves for that brave escape. But now we are seeing the response. The counter-attack has come. Martin Trajanowski has gone on the front. He's got 2 seconds, 3 seconds on Quintero. Milostic is up the road. It is one long train, though. They will be able to benefit from some draft, even though at the moment it's 16K an hour, 13% gradient. They are working well in category 2. Meanwhile, category 4, it looks to me like we've got a gap really starting to open up on the front of that because Hamad El-Bali has been gapped here. I think we've got a group just gone off the front, and he is now going to have to try and stay clear of Milano, Casagrande, Mokhtari. They are all behind. He's got a reasonable buffer, though, about 30 seconds or so at the front, though, of category 4. Look at this. SS has gone for this. It's at 40K. That means he's over the top of the final climb, the Tel Marib June climb. He's on the descent. Behind him, Allport, I think, at the moment is freewheeling his way down. He was, because he just kicked on the pace there. He is not that far behind, but he's given away 18 seconds. That's dangerous with such a short distance to go.
Well, it's looking like it's SS in 1. Allport into 20 seconds back. Then 18 seconds back, there's a chase group of 3. Holtz, Roy, and maybe it's a chase group of 4, actually, because Cridland is in there and Bedoya. So 1 rider out front, 1 rider chasing, 4 riders. Yep, if anybody could add up, that's 6 in total in contention for those top 5 spots today in category 4. And they're 4 kilometres now from the finish.
So 4K for category 4, lead us to the finish. In category 3, left-hand side of your screen, they've got just over 5K to go. They are on the final climb. This is the Tel Marib June climb, the massive June of Tel Marib. They have got to get themselves up and over that. Can they make their way over and break clear? Will they go as a group? We're going to have to see. Category 2 at the moment, they are at 36 kilometers nearly, which means that they are between the Tel Marib climb and running in towards the lake, and the next that uncategorized climb going over the top. In category 1, well, they are on the way into the first of this final climbing section, the Tel Marib climb. They have that drop down at the moment. The pressure is on the front, but it is one group. So our riders scattered across the last 10K or so of the race route. However, for me, I think we've got some really interesting moves. SS going clear, 12 seconds, Emma. He's at 41.7K. He's 200 meters and 13 seconds clear of Allport. I think this is a strategic wait.
Well, it could well be a strategic wait, but there's still 3.3 kilometers to go. Allport is slap bang in the middle, 12 seconds behind SS and 14 seconds ahead of the chasing group. And I tell you what, the 4th group on the road are not that far back either. So this category 4 race field all starting to come back together again. And there's 3 kilometers of racing to go.
Well, Luke Allport does indeed need to do an Allport either up to the front, which is 10 seconds, or back, and is he going to wait, or is he just going to keep on going because he's in second place? You wouldn't want to give that away. You're gambling if you go back to the group behind. Difficult choices for Luke Allport. Easy choice here for Fadel Hector because he's going to go over the top of this climb in first position in category 3. Will he have the fastest time up there? We wait to find out. Not necessarily the case if you lead over the top that you are going to have the fastest time, and indeed he doesn't. It's going to be Montoya. So Jonathan Gomez Montoya has the fastest time over the top by 0.154 of a second.
Well, Gomez, Alcatar, Orlando Angarita, Rodriguez, Hoyas, Downey. Well, she says, just taking a look. Sorry, I'm on a live timing board at the moment, and the times up and through are changing. But 6 riders I can confirm in the leading group in Category 3.
So that is Category 3. We're in with Category 4. We have our 2 escapees. It is like something from The Great Escape here at the moment. You've got the big chase impact trying to close down on the 2 sole escapees. We say it's big, it's not. It's only about 4 or 5 riders. There's another group behind, but you can see them on your screens here. Our 2 leading riders, SS leading out the race. He's the first rider on the course to see these meters. The last few kilometers at 43.2k. He is fast approaching that last kilometer, the agonizing 1,000 meters that will take him to the finish line. It is very, very flat, that last section. Unlike where Category 1 are at the moment, they are at 34.7k. This is the top of the Tel Marib climb. Yep. This is the first climb of part 2, and they are shedding riders. There is at least 3, if not 4 riders being distanced off the back of the group. It may be more. They've gone over the top. Emma, what's the news from the scoreboards at the moment?
5 riders currently leading Category 1. It's Nelson Vuyasin, Safrazadi, Osborne and Jones. 2 riders from Hard to Guard, 3 riders from Coalition Alpha Jaw. That is... Have I got that the right way around? Let me just say that again. 3 riders from Hard to Guard, 2 riders from Coalition Alpha Jaw in the top 5. Jacobs in 6, Talbot in 7, both from Coalition Alpha Jaw. Turek in 8th, Nair in 9th, Plantero in 10th, Wilson in 11th. But it's those 5 riders who are now clear at the front of Category 1.
Category 1 is setting itself up for an amazing final, with the team competition coming into play, not just the individual competitions we see in our qualifiers. That's going to be an absolute cracker. Can't wait to see what happens in that. Our riders now from 35, in terms of leaders, between 35.9k, 36k and the 44.5 kilometer marker. In Category 4, SS leading at the moment. In Category 3, it is Andrew Downey with a 10-second lead on the chasing group behind. Category 2, they are going well. They've got a gap. Category 1, well, still a lot further distance to go. But we are in with SS. He is the rider leading this out. 400 meters to go.
Well, he is indeed. 300 meters to go for SS now. He's leading the Category 4 race at the moment. The chase has been on behind from Luke Allport, Justin Roy and Cridland, but they are behind because SS has made the gap. SS is going to take the win today in Category 4. That's the UCI banner. SS, your winner today in Category 4. So SS taking the win in Category 4. This is Luke Allport. He has been chasing to catch SS, chasing to stay ahead of the chase group. But Luke Allport takes 2nd place today in Category 4.
2 escapees ahead of this run for the line, but Doyle going to lead them out. The polka dot skin suit climber. He's not going to take this sprint for 3rd place. It looks like it's going to be Cridland who takes 3rd, Holst in 4th. Let's take a little bit of a look. Oh, it was so close. And in fact, Holst just rolled him on the line there. That came down to a photo finish. So the overall in Category 4, SS taking 1, Luke Allport 2, Holst 3, Cridland 4, Bedoya in 5, and Justin Roy, the man, not quite making the top 5. You look at that group, they have come through very quick indeed. Weston Walker, the next riders coming in. Don't forget all of the results live at the moment here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Our leaders in Category 4 are in. Plenty of riders in Category 4 out on the course, and that's making the way into the finish. Now, let's go across here. We're watching Category 3. We've got a solo escapee doing an SS basically here, because we've got Downey off the front, Andrew Downey leading. Behind, though, it's not one rider, it's the group of riders on the right-hand side of your screen here. And this is a real mix. We've got Montoya, we've got Angarita, we've got El Hactor, we've got in that chase group. A 5-second gap then, I think,
Yeah.
to Rodriguez, who could get back quite easily.
Yep.
And Sergio Hoyos is not far behind either. So the pressure on for these riders, 43.7k. They've got a little bit more riser than it's that drop and run to the line.
Yeah, they do indeed. This is the final push, really, for the line. It's currently a 1.2% gradient. When they get to the top here, they will start to roll down on the run in to the final. But Andrew Downey on the left-hand side of your page has 700 metres to go. He's 300 metres up the road from the chase group of 4. That chase group of 4 on the right-hand side of your screen, Rodriguez, part and parcel of that group. But it's Downey who has done the business, Downey who has done the work. This is the final corner. He's going to swing round and see the UCI banner signifying the end of this race today in Tel Marib. Andrew Downey in category 3 has put in a storming attack at the front of this race field, the largest race field today on the Sunday Race Club. Well, Andrew Downey comes underneath the line to take the win in category 3 today. So Downey taking the yellow skin suit to go alongside the polka dot skin suit. The chase is on for second place. Angarita Reyes, Alctar, Montoya is in here as well as Rodriguez, as it's Angarita Reyes who opens up the sprint first at 15 watts per kilo. Angarita Reyes takes second place today. Montoya takes second, but it is really close for behind. Well, it is indeed. So Downey in 1. Reyes in 2, Gomez in 3. It's so close. Rodriguez and Montoya.
So our riders in and through. Let's just do a double check on the scoreboard as it updates its way in through here. So Downey taking the win there from Angarita Reyes. Gomez Montoya taking third place. It's Rodriguez taking fourth. Great ride, and I think that's the first top 5 for Fadel Al Hakta of the Al Wasba QTR Pro team. So the Qatari rider taking a top 5. Well done, buddy. Nice to see new faces in our top 5 in all of our categories. So we have got category 3 leaders in and confirmed as winners. Our category 4 leaders in and confirmed as winners. Our category 2 riders, they're out on course, right-hand side of your screen. Our category 1 leaders, left-hand side of your screen. I tell you something, we are seeing a move here on the front by Osborne and Vujasin in category 1 with Jones not that far behind. Category 2, I think this is our little bit of a breakaway going on here on the front. And it looks like they've whittled these numbers down to a successful conclusion. After taking the time doing it, they're down to more manageable numbers.
Yeah, I think they're down to about 5 riders on the right-hand side of your screen currently leading that Category 2 bunch. There's a number of Category 3 riders mixed into the group, so the group looks larger than it possibly is. It might be 6. So Peter Milostic, X100, Tatu Koinstonen, Quintero, Harvey and Trojanowski. It is indeed 6 riders. So 6 riders currently at the front of the Category 2 race field. They've got 3.2 kilometres to go. They're going to descend this small section before the final climb. Then it's a descent and a flat run in to the finish for these 6 riders to decide who takes top spot today. Well, 6 riders in the leading group in Category 2. Daniel Cadiz, the Category 3 rider, is in the mix with them. On the left-hand side of your screen, coming towards the top of the Tel Marib Dune climb, this is Vujasin and Osborne. They are trying to break this group, but Safra Zaidi bringing it back. He's bringing back Jones and Knudsen with him. So 7 seconds currently separating the front of this group from the back in Category 1.
Great battles, great action. Here we go up to the top of the climb. Vujasin pushing with Osborne. Safrazadi losing ground now. We're going to just see, has he got back on? He has. He's kicked onto the back of this group. This is for the run over the top. Can they keep the gap going to Knudsen and Jones, who are at 3 seconds at the moment? It's going to be tight. I think surely Knudsen and Jones are going to get back on again. Will they be able to push back in? Let's take a look at this. So Safazadi, Osborne and Vujasin go over the top. 4.5 seconds down and 4.9 seconds down go Knudsen and Jones respectively. They motored over the top of the climb. They're the leaders, going over nearly 25 seconds faster than the Category 2 leaders. But interestingly, the riders behind, only 5 seconds behind to the chasers in that group. It's still going to be close as they come into this finish, isn't it, Emma?
It is indeed, because with only a 4-second gap, it really is possible for Knudsen and Jones to close that down. Interestingly, Talbot and Jacobs are the two riders chasing in that Category 1 race, as we in with Koivunen at the moment. So Koivunen, Trojanowski, Harvey, Quintero, Millerstick, an X100. This is the leading group in the Category 2 race. And it's Tatu Koivunen who has pushed on first at 43.4 kilometres into the race. This is the slight climb, the last rise before the descent and the finish line comes. And Koivunen has made the most of this and has dug in to use this part of the course for a long attack before the finish.
Yeah, brave move, big push, long way to go. But Tatu Koivunen, a really strong rider, and it could well be that this is going to take the sting out of the riders behind. Just keep an eye on the right-hand side of our screen. And that group, we're watching from the perspective of Mr. X100 with Quintero, Harvey, Milostic, Trojanowski ahead of him. Now he starts to move his way through the group. If this group can work together, they will pull back Koivunen. However, if they just hesitate, they're going to be in trouble. And I think Mr. X100 has decided enough is enough. 6.4 watts per kilo. He's in pursuit now, 6.5. This is the push to bring Koivunen back. They're going to run into the downhill, carry this momentum in, and they should pick him back up again. The finishing line is not far away. We go down the hill. We go round that left-hand turn and that banner, the gantry, the UCI gantry. Remember, MyWhoosh, the UCI partner for 2024, 25, 26, with our qualifiers and our semi-finals coming up, and the run into those finals has come in. But this is the run for the line. Koivunen just about leading them out.
Well, he's leading them out, but he is being chased hard from behind because Peter Millerstick has already kicked 400 metres to go. Koivunen in one. Millerstick coming fast behind, just 2 seconds back. X100. Trojanowski goes now. So does Harvey. Harvey's just kicked at 10 watts per kilo. Can they use the momentum on the downhill to continue to push? But Koivunen is going to make the finish line first, I think. Tatu Koivunen, your winner in Category 2. James Harvey, Trojanowski and Quintero with X100 coming fast from behind. Photo finish behind, but Koivunen takes it from James Harvey, from Trojanowski, from Quintero. X100 in 5, Millerstick 6.
At the start of this shot, Emma said we would see lots of sprints. Emma was dead right, we did. But you know what? They weren't for the win, because we have seen solo moves off the front in categories 4, 3, and 2. This could mean that will we see a solo rider try and break away late, a late breakaway going over that final climb, over the final bumps and rollers down into the finish, could take this. Is that going to change the thinking of the riders in Category 1? We have our elite group at the front, Vujasin, Jones, Knudsen, Safazadi in here. This is all about who is going to blink first, I think. Who will go? Will they be tempted to go too early here? Emma, would you, this is a one-word answer, would you sprint or would you solo?
Off of this group?
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably try everything. But
one-word answer. Choose. Get off the fence. You're getting splinters. Come on.
I'm going solo. But Jones, Osborne, Knudsen, Vujasin and Safrazadi are all back together again. And it's interesting to see the moves here, because Safrazadi has just dropped to the back of the group. Has he dropped to attack, or has he just given himself some respite and letting the others do the work so he can watch the moves?
if you're on the front, very hard to see what everybody else is doing. If you're at the back, you see what moves they're making. But you've got more distance to cover if you want to get to the front. This is a small group, though. Rolling through the group is surely going to be key here. Getting the momentum right, getting the timing right is going to be critical. We're coming towards the top of the very last roller coaster bump on the way down. This is the last part of ascent on this route today. 45 kilometers is the finishing line. They've got to go over the top here, and it rolls off as you go over. So it's not a sharp transition. It's going to gradually build up speed. The transition to the flat is quite quick, so you can carry that pace through that depression. These 5 riders together, Safrasedi hovering in the background. He's on some pretty amazing form at the moment. I think he's given his legs a little bit of a rest, ready for a sprint kick. Osborne is in the mix here, so is Nussen. Jones has got a sprint on him. I wouldn't like to predict who is going to take this at the end of this amazing race. They're now into the last 900, now 800 meters. Here we go. Hang on to your hats. Get on the edge of your seats. Get to hold of something tight because we are on our way.
Well, who is going to blink first here in this Category 1 race? 5 riders back together again after we saw 2 riders distanced on the final climb. Safrasedi, Jones, Knudsen, Osborne as Vuyasin goes. So Lionel Vuyasin has kicked first. He's gone with 400 metres to go. The response is on from behind. Ollie Jones at 16 watts per kilo. That man has a sprint and a clean garage. So Jones and Osborne kicking fast, but they're chasing Lionel Vuyasin. Can he hold this? I think he can. Lionel Vuyasin takes the win. It's 3 across the line at the finish for second, third and fourth. So Vuyasin takes the win from Knudsen, from Jones, from Safrasedi. Jason Osborne takes 5th spot today.
And this is the run for 6th and 7th places at the moment. Those spots occupied by Category 2 riders at the moment. They're going to be changed, though. Now, will it be Tubbert? Will it be Jacobs? They're sprinting in. They've got a Category 2 rider. It's going to be Jacobs who's going to take that next spot inside the top 10. It's going to be Tubbert who goes in behind him in 7th place. What amazing racing. Lionel Vuyasin taking the win. Michael Nussen taking second. Ollie Jones taking third. Saeed Safrasedi taking fourth. And Jason Osborne rounding out our top 5. Jacobs and Tolbert are the first of the rest of the riders to come in and over the lane. 6th and 7th places.
0.6 of a second separating our top 5 riders in Category 1 today.
And 0.015. So that is 105,000ths of a second separating the riders in 2nd and 4th places.
It's amazing. Absolutely phenomenal racing from our men's categories today.
So, Emma, just give us a quick top 3 in each of our categories, can you?
Okay, so Vuyasin, Knudsen and Jones, Category 1. Category 2, Koinston, Harvey and Troshanowski. Category 3, Downey, Angarita Reyes and Gomez Orlando. Category 4, I'm having to scroll a long way. We've got a lot of finishers through. SS, Allport and Holtz.
So don't get all of the full results on the MyWhoosh.com website. My name's Matt Payne. It's an absolute pleasure putting words to the action. And next week, I'm going to leave you in the hands of Emma Martin. Emma will be bringing you all of the race action. I am on duty for the BBC at the Olympics for the mountain bike. And I will be watching, like I'm sure you will be, as soon as I can afterwards. So please do join Emma for that. Don't forget, lots of great racing to come up. Please do join us for the Flamme Rouge Racing event on the bike. We're going to be there. It's 3 time zones. That is on Tuesday. We've got the MyWhoosh Classics coming up and our open qualifiers. All the details on the MyWhoosh.com website. Subscribe, like, give us a follow on Instagram. It helps not just myself and Emma, but of course MyWhoosh and us to all help develop the sport of esports. We want to see you on your bike on there. We'd love to have you along for the ride. Emma will be back next week for the finals. Make sure you tune in. The team competition will be in play. Emma's already excited on the other side of the studio to the point where I think before she goes absolutely nuts and excited about it and dances around the studio, it's time for us to say goodbye. Stay safe. What a fantastic set of races to end our qualifiers. We'll see you for the finals next week. Goodbye.
Bye.